This is a Dialogue House recording of a lecture by Dr. Ira Progoff entitled Waking Dream and Living Myth in the Creative Work of Ingmar Bergman, given as part of a series sponsored by the Foundation for the Arts, Religion, and Culture in New York City.
The subject of dream and myth, which is the focus of this forum, takes us to the very core of the nature of man. Studies in this series have already demonstrated that on the one hand, dreams, and especially myths, are a primary medium for intuitive insights into the ultimate nature of human existence. On the other hand, the conception that each culture has of myths and dreams reflects its underlying view of the nature of man. For modern man, this conception has changed significantly during the past 2 centuries. Where myths and dreams were once seen as religious realities, they were later narrowed down by rationalistic points of view. More recently, however, the larger significance of dreams and myths has been restored to them, is being even now enlarged, but it is still within the context as providers of meaning and access to existential truth. Because of this new recognition, it is particularly important that we have an adequate perspective with respect to the place and the role that dreams and myths have in the context of the total human personality. And to this end, I would like to set before you tonight, in the following remarks, some of the main aspects of myth and dream as they would be seen by the light of our holistic depth psychology. I think you will find that these perspectives are useful, not only for interpreting patterns of symbolism in ancient as well as in modern times, but also for actively evoking the potentials of personality at the deep levels of symbolic experience. You will notice in the title of this paper the phrase waking dream. The word waking used here is intended not so much to indicate a contrast to dreams of sleep as to convey the largeness of the dream dimension. Dreams are not restricted to the physical condition of sleep. They pertain rather to the symbolic dimension of human experience as a whole. Dreams may occur in sleep, where we are accustomed to look for them, and also in waking states, where we find ourselves living out the symbolic aspect of life. And they may occur also in twilight states, which are between the state of sleeping and waking. Dreaming in all 3 of these conditions expresses an underlying quality not only of human existence, but of the nature of the human psyche. This is specifically the quality of the psyche that unfolds in terms of symbols, which may be either symbolic imagery, symbolic experiences, or intuitive perceptions of the symbolic meaning of life. All these together constitute the symbolic dimension of human experience. In general, dreams are that aspect of the symbolic dimension that is experienced in personal terms. When the symbolic dimension is perceived in transpersonal terms, in terms that pertain to more than the subjective experience of the individual, reaching to what is universal in man, whether the experience is in sleeping or waking state, myth is then involved. It is myth, then, because it touches what is ultimate in man and in his life, and expresses it symbolically, and provides an inner perspective by which the mysteries of human existence are felt and entered into. In this sense, it is quite clear that there are often mythological aspects of dreams. When a personal experience is felt deeply enough, it touches what is more than personal in man's existence. The process of dreaming therefore moves naturally from the personal level to the level of myth. This is how it becomes possible for individuals to experience their personal lives in larger than personal contexts of meaning. Both dream and myth are aspects of a single dimension of experience. This is the symbolic dimension. To think of dreams in terms of this dimension is separate from, though not necessarily contradictory, to other lines of investigation. For example, considerable advances have recently been made in the physiological understanding of dreams. Experiments have been conducted into the various conditions under which dreams have been produced. Through them, considerable information has been gathered concerning the biological and the neurological aspects of dreaming when in the sleep state. Such investigations have helped us understand that sleep dreams are a physiological necessity for the nervous system. The evidence accumulated indicates that dreams are an integral part of the life process of the human organism as a whole. But I would point out that such physiological studies are treating dreams specifically in their sleep aspect. While they provide a way of understanding the physiological base of dreaming, they are not really contributing to our understanding of dreams insofar as dreams are expressions of the symbolic dimension of human experience. So, in one sense, it would be correct to say that these sleep studies of dreams, dealing as they do with the physiological conditions, are quantitative studies, whereas studies of dreams that deal with the symbolic components of dreams are qualitative studies. This qualitative aspect of the study of dreams and of myths is the special province and the interest of holistic depth psychology. Another aspect of the study of dreams that has been historically important and is still applied in many varieties of psychotherapy is the interpretation of dreams as expressions of the unconscious processes. The hypothesis of the unconscious is indeed the historical basis for the development of depth psychology as a special discipline. A great deal depends, however, on the way in which this aspect, this unconscious aspect of the psyche, is understood. In the first place, if we go back to Freud's conception in the way that he described the unconscious, to Freud it was specifically related to the repressed contents of personality. And particularly with respect to dreams, Freud's view was essentially that dreams are the carriers of the repressed contents of the psyche. In his view, dreams refer symbolically to those past experience which the individual is unable to accept by the light of his conscious attitudes. Now, in such a context, then, symbols are not regarded as an integral form of human experience. In such a view, they are secondary and derivative. They are reflecting the repressed material. In Freud's framework, symbols are substitutes for the original experiences, the experiences which had to be repressed because, in his view, they could not be consciously faced. Now, this conception of dreams and their contents possesses an inherent limitation, it seems to me, a limitation that has become increasingly apparent during the past decade of work in psychotherapy. The man who saw the problem first and who responded to it in the most constructive way was C.G. Jung. Jung accepted and retained Freud's hypothesis regarding the existence of the unconscious. But he saw very early the necessity of enlarging that concept. And then, in reformulating Freud's original conception, Jung made a contribution that is still of tremendous historical importance. And I think it's fair to say that the implications of this addition to the concept of the unconscious is only now beginning to be appreciated as the new developments in psychology take place.